Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs and the Ruben Studders. More once you discover. For all of the lovers, Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers, and Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers, and Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape. Every one of us, I was kinda late, so I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the faith, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta focus on what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Hardy is on the air. Had to drop a couple bars just to make you all aware. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You know I go by Joe or the rest of the flow, yeah.
Hey y'all! Welcome to a new episode, a special episode of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie Hardy. Happy Saturday. Oh my God. Oh my God. If you are with me on this Saturday afternoon, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And just thank you for being a part of the vibe. Like, I'm usually not up this early on a Saturday morning, but so much has happened that I have to talk about it, because of course last night was SmackDown, and it was live. And not only was it was live in my hometown of Birmingham, Alabama, and at the Legacy Arena. And so much of this amazing stuff had happened in this show that it made me so proud that all of what coalesced happened here in the city. And I just can't even begin to put it all together into words, because so much amazing stuff has happened. And yeah, whoa, what type of world are we living in? Just when we think we have all the answers, WWE changes the questions. And if you are watching live on any one of the platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of the things, thank you guys so much for watching and being a part of the vibe, because y'all, I feel like as one of the major media entities that is owned and operated from this great city in this great state, I owed it to everyone to come on here and talk about how I felt about everything, about all of what happened in this episode of SmackDown. There was so much that took place, and hopefully once I get past some technical issues, I'll be able to share and talk about it. But oh my God, last night was a movie, just like I knew it was going to be, when with a lot of stuff came out about the episode and people who could have been making appearances and stuff. Like, I knew that it was going to be something special. And when I tell you, this episode did not disappoint, it did not disappoint. So, oh my gosh, tell me in the comments, of course, if you watched this episode, and tell me how you felt about it, where your feelings are even at this point, because Jesus Christ, so much has happened, and I can't even begin to wrap my mind around everything. And just the fact that it happened in my hometown, it is so insane. So in the comments, please tell me, how you guys felt about watching it, and how you felt about watching the crowd, how you felt about watching everything. Please tell me all of your feelings about the thing, and we will go through this and gather it together. But of course, if you have not already, please follow the Hardy Wrestling Podcast on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast, or on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. Listen to the show everywhere you get your podcast, and watch the YouTube, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have a couple of new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your love and your support. And just knowing what this passion is and knowing what it is to me when it comes to professional wrestling. If you are new to the show, please like, share, and subscribe, and share any clips that you might see me sharing. Like, there is so much that I do on the reg when it comes to wrestling and media. And I also write, because I forgot to introduce that part of myself. I'm a contributing writer for Daily DDT, and I'm also a color commentator. That's been featured on the Belladonna Division, Battle Club Pro, Black Girl Magic 2022, and Spartan Wrestling. So, of course, if you have not already, please check out all of my work. I see Malcolm in the comments. Yes, I hate I didn't see you last night, but I'm so glad that you were there. It was the best SmackDown that we've ever had. And of course, my love in the comments with fire emojis. Thank you, baby. I am just so honored. I was so honored to be a part of the show last night. So, something that I do have to discuss that I am so proud of that happened in the realm of the city is just the fact that on this episode of SmackDown, they highlighted the city of Birmingham in such a beautiful way that has never been highlighted before. Now, of course, if you've watched an episode of SmackDown or even an episode of Raw, you have seen them highlight and show different cities all over, the country and even all over the world, where you see the skylines and so many different sports teams that the city has where they are at. And I can tell you from years of going to wrestling shows, they have never highlighted and put Birmingham on a spectacle the way that they did this night, the way that they did last night. They had never done it before. And when I tell you, I was absolutely thrilled and honored that this was happening, because of course SmackDown usually starts with fireworks, and you either see the staging or you see the commentators start the show or anything else like that. No, they started the show looking at the Legacy Arena, which is also known as the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Complex, the BJCC, of course, if you're from here. And they show the skyline of the city multiple times throughout the episode. And they even showed Cody Rhodes walking his dog, Pharaoh, the cutest dog in the world, backstage. And it was just really nice to see that. And then you even saw Rhea Ripley, the women's world champion, walking backstage past a Birmingham ambulance. Like, that was just really sick. And so the idea that they kept pushing the narrative of this amazing city just blessed my soul. Like, this skyline is a skyline that I have seen my entire life. I pass by the skyline every day to go to work. Shout out to my work. And it's just so wonderful because I look out at the skyline like every morning, of course, and just bask in the beauty of what my city is. This is my home. Like, this is where I walk around and like get coffee from time to time. This is where, I've gone on job interviews and stuff like that, and hung out with friends in the city. This is where my father works. Like, he's worked in the Birmingham Museum of Art for over 20 years. Like, this is my home. So the idea that they put it on such a big pedestal last night truly blessed my spirit in a way that I am just trying to convey in words. Like, this is really my home. Like, I just could not believe it. And the thing about Birmingham is we have evolved so much so to the point to where we can be highlighted like this. Like, once upon a time, we just had our skyline and we just had the BJCC, and those were really the biggest parts that we had. But now, of course, we've rebuilt our entire highway system to have lights underneath it, to be beautiful. And then we have City Walk, which is a giant park underneath the highways right next to the BJCC. We have Uptown Birmingham, where you can go eat and do stuff right across from the sports car museum. I believe that's what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you're watching. Like, we of course have the Protective Stadium, which is where the Birmingham Legion, our soccer team, and our two-time USFL champions, the Birmingham Stallions, play football. Like, we have built ourselves up to a point to where we can have stuff like this. We redesigned the BJCC. We can have stuff like this to be highlighted on television. And if you watch the episode, I am so, so, so happy that you guys got to see what I talk about all the time when it comes to Birmingham. Like, not only is it deep in history, especially when it comes to Black history and the civil rights movement, we are rising in a beautiful way to meet our future. And I am just so proud to be from Birmingham. Not even just because we're building towards our future, but I was always proud to be from Birmingham. I was never ashamed to be from Birmingham and Fairfield. 205 lit all day. Like, this is my home, and I am so proud that y'all got to see all of the beauty and all of the love that I see every single day in this big city. We are made for major things, and I am just so grateful that y'all got to see that. Like, it was emotional for me to sit in the seats and watch on the big screen as they kept showing it. Like, it was, I just kept screaming. I kept talking to my boyfriend. I was like, this is us, this is us, this is us. I kept saying it over and over again. And then to be even more proud of the fact that we had over 10,000 people fill up the BJCC to come see this show. That is such a major deal. Like, I can't even begin to let y'all know how big of a deal this is for us, because growing up, I always heard that, we don't necessarily turn stuff out or sell stuff out, but we sold SmackDown out last night, and it was such an amazing accomplishment for us to have made as a city. And it lets me know that with the way that WWE highlighted us and with the way that we showed up, it lets me know that we are destined for greatness and destined for bigger things. And I am just so grateful and so happy that we are at this point. I am so over the moon about it. I am so over the moon about it. I can't even, oh my God. I keep stuttering, but it's only because I am just so happy that this is us and this is happening for us. Like, it's like I always say, we might not be, on the level of Los Angeles yet, or we might not be on the level of Atlanta or New York yet, but we are Birmingham and we deserve all of this. And I am so proud of us. And I'm so grateful to WWE for highlighting the beauty of my city. Like, this is something that I will never forget for as long as I live. And to experience it all with friends, and to experience it with my boyfriend, the love of my life, in the place where he and I met, and to be there with his brother as well, who was with us the entire time, who I consider family now. It's just the most beautiful thing. It was just just so many amazing things. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm over the moon. We're blessed. The city is blessed. It was just amazing. So before I go on and on about the city even more, we got to move on to SmackDown, the show itself. And of course, I was there with the outside debut of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast Championship. I was carrying it all night, and that's me pointing at the WrestleMania sign because, of course, you got to do it. And I was so happy to be there, and I got lots of compliments on my championship. Thank you guys so much for all the love that you've shown for the HWP title. I'm so grateful to Brandon, the belt guy from the wrestling realm, for curating the title with me and, just going on the journey with me to create this championship. Like, it meant the world to carry it on my shoulder the entire time. That whole night, I got lots of compliments on it from kids. I love interacting with children at wrestling events because they are just so excited and they just have all this joy. And to see them all there was just amazing. And I just loved being a part of it and pointing to the WrestleMania sign because, guys, we are in for a ride on this road. So yeah, it was just amazing to be there. So I'm actually not going to start by talking about the big thing. And I want to start with talking about the women because that's what I always do on the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Malcolm in the comments saying all we need is Mayor Woodfin to invest in WWE Birmingham for pay-per-views. Absolutely, Malcolm. Absolutely. Okay. That's all we need in life. And the mayor was there. Shout out to Mayor Woodfin. He was there watching with everyone, with The Rock showing up. Like, he was there. And we'll get to The Rock in a minute. But I gotta talk about Bayley first. In the one thing that people have been looking forward to is sort of like watching the sort of slow breakup of Damage Control. And oh my God, Bailey overheard, um, Bailey overheard Io Sky, the world champion, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors, the women's tag team champions, talking about her in Japanese. And then Io said, Bailey's done. And they did not know that Bailey was there. So we were just like, oh my God, they're talking bad about her. Like we were in the audience, like, oh my God, this is crazy. But what we did not expect was for Bailey to walk up and she heard it all. I was like, oh my God. Like I was gagged. I was like, oh my God, we are about to witness this. I cannot believe it. I was just so excited and gagged. And yes, Courtney, thank you for chiming in the comments saying, yes, I did go. I got to go. Thank you so much. Um, that's my cousin, y'all. I did get to go. And it was amazing. And I cannot believe that we got to experience Bailey overhear them talking trash about her. So this led, of course, to the next segment where she confronted Damage Control. And oddly enough, Dakota Kai wasn't there. And I thought that's an interesting wrinkle to things. So once they all came out here, they came out here because Bailey was out here to make her decision on who she was going to face at WrestleMania because she won the Royal Rumble last Saturday. And of course, congratulations to her for that. Because, yeah. So Bailey comes out here and she starts talking about, how she could face Rhea Ripley, for the women's world title. And Rhea Ripley was there. And she was just like, but when it comes to friendships, all I've ever wanted, for Damage Control is for us to be dominant and hold all the gold in WWE. And when it comes, and she talked about how she's had friends stab her in the back before and how she's been through so many things, but she knew she had her girls with her. So she knew that she was untouchable and she could conquer anything. And because of that, she was able to win the Royal Rumble like she did. And so she turns around finally and talks about friends stabbing her in the back, and she confronts Kyrie, Io, and Asuka and told them, yeah, I know y'all have been talking about me. And she actually spoke in Japanese and said, what makes you guys think that I don't know Japanese? Like, I've been wrestling all over the world. Like, I know what you guys say about me when I'm not in the room or when I'm in the room. I know what y'all say about me. And they looked gagged too. They were just like, you know Japanese? Yes, she does. And she told them, look, I know how many times you guys have insulted me. I wanted Damage Control to be a family and I wanted us to conquer WWE together. All of this was my idea. But Io, you changed when Kyrie joined and when Asuka joined. Like, you changed. What happened? And after confronting them and after, telling them how she felt, she said that she will be challenging Io for her world championship, for her women's championship at WrestleMania. And we all screamed to the top of our lungs. And if you overheard it on television, we were chanting Bailey's name at least 3 different times in this whole promo. So everybody is definitely on Bailey's side when it comes to this, and we are happy that she is challenging Io. And then they decided to jump her afterward and beat up on her afterward, but Miss Ma'am was smart and brought a pipe and attacked everybody. Even Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis had to move out of the way because she brought out this pipe and hit the crap out of Asuka and hit the crap out of Io. And she was about to hit Kyrie, and then she hit Kyrie, and then she was about to hit Io, but then Io picked up her title and she was like, look, I'm gonna hit you with this. But then they stared at each other. They just stared at each other. And yeah, they had a standoff. And it was just really crazy to experience this from an emotional standpoint because, these women came up in Damage Control together almost 2 years ago. Like, Bailey brought Io and Dakota Kai in to wreck shop in WWE and just, destroy everything. That was her vision because she low-key felt like, okay, if I invest in these girls, then maybe this is another way for me to feel better about myself and the trajectory of my career. But now she has to focus on herself. And it's really amazing how this journey is coalescing, because I can directly relate to this in a deep, deep way, where you invest so much, into people that you believe in, but then eventually, they turn on you and they stab you in the back after you put in so much work. Because it's like I said, at Survivor Series in Chicago, she was taking the bullet for a lot of these women in that women's War Games match. So the idea that they can just turn on her on a dime was just absolutely ridiculous. She was the one who put this together. So now she has to be the one to tear it apart and take the title away from Io. And I am so happy that we witnessed this happen. I am so glad, because this was amazing. It was emotional. The job was done and everybody was on Bayley's side. We were chanting for Bayley for the first time in I don't know how long. It felt good to do that. Now, as far as Bayley going back to her ponytail and wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube, man, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. But either way, we are here for Bayley challenging Io at WrestleMania. It's cool. I like it. It's cool. I love it. And then something that someone on Twitter talked about was the fact that Bayley wore white when Dakota and Io came up at SummerSlam 2 years ago to attack Bianca Belair, who was the Raw Women's Champion at the time, and Becky Lynch. And the fact that she was wearing white last night just sort of feeds into the story. Everything is just full circle here. It's the subtleties, right? So I was really glad that that had happened. And I also loved Bayley's outfit that she wore. It looked really cute and comfortable. It's just crazy stuff all around. But yeah, Bayley, we're going to get a face Bayley and it's going to be really cool. So I'm here for that. Then this is where I lost my voice. I don't sound like it now because I have to be, a little bit professional and stuff. But this is where I almost lost at least 50% of my voice because Jade Cargill popped up, because they're playing the whole signing game here. Where is Jade going to sign? Because if you may or may not know, Jade Cargill made her WWE in-ring debut last Saturday at the Royal Rumble. And she did a phenomenal job. She basically gave like a slam to Nia Jax and then picked her up and eliminated her by herself. Number one, I didn't even know Jade was that strong. Number two, I was just impressed the whole time with her performance. And I hated that she got eliminated. But either way, it was amazing to see her on the screen. I was screaming and I was like, oh my God, it's Jade, it's Jade. Like, I could not deal with it. Jade was in Birmingham and she looked absolutely amazing here with her hair and her outfit. Like, this woman just does not miss when it comes to her aura and her presence and her fashion. Like, I'm just gagged every time I see her. So the fact that she showed up on this episode, I was just screaming my head off. We still don't know where she could possibly end up, whether she could be on SmackDown or whether she could be on Raw, or even if she'll go to NXT, because that's still very much an option. We don't know, but either way, I was so excited to see her. I could not deal. I just could not deal. Then, of course, we had Naomi with her new contract on SmackDown Live, because, of course, she made her re-debut, if you could say, or at least her return at the Royal Rumble too. And everyone was so excited to see her and so excited, that she came back after being gone for an entire year in TNA after everything happened with that situation with her and Mercedes Moné. She is now back and she signed her contract and everybody was celebrating with her. Shotzi, Michin, Mia Yim, and Bianca Belair. They were so happy. They were hugging her, welcoming her back and everything. It was just an amazing deal to see her back in Birmingham, because of course the last time I saw her in Birmingham, I believe she was a tag team champion with Mercedes Moné. And then there was also that great moment that she had with Mandy Sachs / Mandy Rose when she beat her up in a hotel up the street. That was great. So the fact that she came back here, and signed her contract was really cool. We were cheering for her. We were so happy. Then you have the SmackDown debut of Tiffany Stratton, who also has her contract with SmackDown. And now she's on the main roster. She's like, look, I don't care if I have to fight the baddest women in WWE to make an impact, I will do it. And she proceeded to slap Mia Yim in the face. And we were like, yo, that was just really crazy how she chose to slap her and didn't slap Bianca, but Mia said, I'm going to stand on business tonight and we're going to fight. And her and Tiffany Stratton had a pretty good match, but Tiffany Stratton ultimately won. And that made me sad because I want Mia Yim to start winning more on television because she had that great showing in that championship match against Io Sky. And I just want more for her. Like I want more for her than to just lose to people who are making their debuts. Like I don't want her to be the girl that just puts people over. She's so talented and she deserves way, way more. But the idea that Tiffany just slapped her in her face like that, it was crazy. My boyfriend said her slapping me and Yim like that on the second day of Black History Month felt like a hate crime. And I was like, I have to agree because how dare you be disrespectful to Mia in that way? Also, I'm so happy that she liked my highlight of her on the first day of Black History Month. I posted a picture of her highlighting her for Black Herstory, and she liked it, and I'm so happy she did. And it was just really good to see her wrestle. And there was this one little girl who was screaming her heart out for Mia. She was like, Mia! And I was just like, same. Same, baby. Same. It was really good. But yeah, this was good. We saw Tiffany debut and we got to see the prettiest moonsault ever in real time. It was really good. So Tiffy is a star. I actually would have liked it if she got in the face of Becky Lynch again, but I guess, in due time that'll happen. But she's on SmackDown, so it's going to be good stuff. I'm happy for her. Yeah, and there's that prettiest moonsault ever if you're watching. Like that's a good picture of it right there. It was really cool. So, yeah, big ups to Tiffany and we do definitely want more from Mia Yim in the future. And speaking more of the women, you had Bianca show up with her Love and WWE t-shirt on, which of course they did kept bigging up. Somebody even brought a sign saying, to watch the show on Hulu, like free publicity. That was really funny. But Logan Paul decided to disrespect Bianca Belair and gaslight her on the second day of Black History Month. And this irritated me. I was just like, first of all, you came in here and interrupted her and made it seem like she wasn't important enough. And number two, you're trying to gaslight her and make it seem like her reaction was not worthy of what you were doing. And that made me upset. I was just like, you privileged little boy, get your butt on. You can't do that to her. It was like, it really was like angering. There was a girl who was sitting behind me. She was just like, oh no, I know you ain't being disrespectful to her. She's like, don't make her get Montez to beat your behind, even though she didn't say behind. Like, I was here for this. If Montez does get a singles match against Logan Paul, I will be happy about that. And if this sets him up to win the United States Championship, that would be cool too. But either way, Logan versus Bianca would be cool too. Somebody mentioned that on social media last night, and I was just like, you know what? I would pay for that. Bianca becoming the first woman to be the United States champion would be amazing. But on the side of Montez, that would be cool too. But Logan Paul was mad rude last night. He not only was he rude to Bianca, he was rude to Kevin Owens, and he was rude to Alabama. But that's just par for the course. He's a butthole. So we're just gonna move on from that. Also, I was so happy to see my girl Zelina Vega beat up Elektra Lopez in that fatal four-way match, tag team match, to I guess qualify for whoever is going to go up against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I was so happy that that had happened. So I was just like, yes, okay, this is what's going on. But Elektra decided to get in the face of LWO. So Miss Zelina decided to jump on her and hit her Meteora from the ring apron and start beating up on her. And I was like, yes, Zelina, go, Zelina, go. I was so happy to see her live because I haven't seen her live in like a minute. So to be able to see her in Birmingham was really cool. And I just love her so, so much. And yeah, I was just glad to see her. So in the midst of all of that, oh my gosh, in the midst of all of that, hold on a second, because I'm having technical issues. Ugh, forgive me, guys. Technical issues. Mm. Do 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 do. Trying to pull the pictures back up, you guys. It's crazy. But either way, the women really showed out. The women showed out in this episode. And then even after the show went off, there was a dark match that was a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship between Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax. And Nia Jax came out in her natural hair. And that really excited me because I just love her curly stuff. Her curly hair, it was just really beautiful. Like I just really enjoyed that. So it was just really cool. All the women's action was relatively solid and the, segments were solid too. Louise. Louise from Spartan Wrestling is chiming in saying, well, what Logan Paul said about Alabama, can't blame him. It's true. You say that, but you were literally at the BJCC before I was, you know, meeting wrestlers and stuff like that. So Alabama, look, first of all, okay, guys, this is where you're going to see the passionate part of me. You will not throw shade at the state of Alabama, sir, because you keep coming to Alabama for your wrestling work, Luis. You come to Spartan Wrestling and you call yourself the voice of Spartan Wrestling all the time. And you want to throw shade at the state of Alabama for what, my guy? Like, Alabama is a beautiful state. We have Southern hospitality down here, and we have cool and amazing things. So you're not going to sit here and throw shade at my home state on my watch, okay? You're going to come on my live and do that? No. Don't make me come down there to Gaston. Don't make me come down there to Gaston. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Because I will come down there and we will have a moment. Okay. We will have a moment and I will get you together on commentary. And speaking of commentary, if you want to book me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, for a commentary job, I am available for all of 2024. So if you want to book me during WrestleMania weekend or any other weekend that you have a wrestling thing, whether it's Alabama or any other state, book me, email me at hardywrestlingpodcast@gmail.com or DM me at any one of my socials. I will answer and we will talk about rates. Okay. Cute little commercial break there. But Luis, you can't come on here and throw shade at Alabama. You can't. Also, Rhea does have the it factor. She just does. She's an amazing talent. She's beautiful. Like, she's strong. She's competitive. Like, she's just an incredible woman. Like, she just has a giant aura about her that I just love. So Rhea is that it girl. She really is. So she definitely deserves to be a champion, but she definitely deserves someone who's going to fully challenge her. Now, is it going to be Becky Lynch? I hope so. It's going to be cool if it is Becky. But either way, like, the women really showed out last night. So we love it. I'm just really trying to get through these technical difficulties. So past the point of freaking Zelina Vega attacking Elektra Lopez. When it comes to the women, we also had B Fab from formerly of Hit Row, show up to come to the defense of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I love that so much because I've been wanting more for B Fab ever since, Top Dollar got released, and Ashanti the Adonis is still there, but he has yet to materialize since he had that moment with Nick Aldis backstage saying he was hungry. So I'm just like, okay, you saying you hungry, so what's about to happen here with Ashanti the Adonis? We haven't seen him since, but I am happy that we did get to see B Fab attack Scarlett. I was just like, yo, Scarlett, because Scarlett was attacking Bobby Lashley during the match, during the 6-man tag team match that they were supposed to have. And B-Fab came to the defense, and I was so happy to see her because she has been training with Natalya and working hard, on her wrestling skills. So the idea that she made her debut, in front of me, and in front of everybody in Birmingham made me so glad because I was just like, yes, because I've wanted B-Fab to really be that girl, for them as she kept presenting herself for them over and over again. I was like, okay, her, you know, and Bobby and Montez and Angelo would be amazing. So I'm really happy that she showed up here and beat up on Scarlett to even up the odds. I was so glad. I was like, yes, B-Fab. Yes, B-Fab. Like, all of the black women really showed out on this episode of SmackDown. It was really cool. I loved it. Between Mia Yim, Naomi signing her contract, Jade popping up, and B-Fab here, I was just so excited. I was so, so excited. And I'm just so happy B-Fab is here. And now she has red braids. I love the red braids because for a long time she was rocking the white ones, and the white ones were really unique looking. But I am so happy she is here with a new look, and red braids are never a bad look because I've had red locks and twists, and they're really pretty. So I love that for B-Fab. I'm so happy that she has now come forth as the new female half of Bobby and the Street Profits. I love it. I truly love it. Luis is saying, yours truly flew in for The Rock. That's the only thing that'll pull me away from my busy schedule. Bring it February 24th at Spartan Wrestling presents Lethal Leap Year, like you did the last time you was there. Hey, we can work it out, boo. And we will sit next to each other, and I will give you the Southern sass and the business as only Stephanie can. Now, moving forward with the rest of this show, we got to get to the Cody Rhodes of it all. Let's gather ourselves and talk about this moment. All night, they talked about how Cody was going to make his decision as to who he was going to face at WrestleMania because, of course, he won the Royal Rumble for the second year in a row this past Saturday. Congratulations to him for that. And him and Seth Rollins had a little bit of a thing on Monday Night Raw, and he said, of course, I'll think about it. So he comes on SmackDown, and they say he's going to make his decision. So here he is. He comes up after Roman Reigns was throwing mad shade at Seth Rollins and said, look, how you going to put on your wife's clothes and be the man? And I was like, God dang, that was crazy. Like, he was just giving Seth Rollins all kinds of heck. And then he called him little brother. And I was just like, how you going to call him little brother when he was wrestling longer than you? But whatever, Roman, be delusional. And I'm not going to lie, it was cool to see Roman Reigns say Birmingham, Alabama, acknowledge me. That was cool, but I still don't like him because he hurt my feelings. So Cody Rhodes comes out here and he gets on the microphone and he says, look, I wanted the Royal Rumble, and I can't lie that I want to take this championship from you and take everything from you. And then he even mentioned how he cheated at WrestleMania last year, which is so funny because he had never addressed the fact that Roman cheated at WrestleMania last year. He never said it or never addressed it, but everybody else did. And even I did because, of course, I was there and I was so upset that I stormed out of the SoFi Stadium because of it. I was angry because Cody deserved to win. He deserved to win last year. But here we are in the today of things. And he's won the Royal Rumble, and he was talking about how he wants to take everything from Roman Reigns and take the championship from Roman Reigns. But then here is where we got a kick in the gut. And he said, just not at WrestleMania. And I'm like, what? What do you mean not at WrestleMania? What do you mean? Like, I'm looking lost. I'm confused as to what's going on. What do you mean? And then it was already crazy. It was just so crazy. Like, what do you mean not at WrestleMania? And so Cody says, I've been taking counsel from family and from friends, And even from somebody you know and somebody who knows you very well. And baby, The Rock, the ROCK, Dwayne Johnson, comes out and surprises the heck out of all of us who did not know he was there. And he comes out and I'm freaking out because, yo, when was the last time The Rock was in Birmingham? I can't even remember. I don't even remember the last time The Rock was in Birmingham. Like, I can't. It was probably when I was a child and when he was more so of a full-time wrestler. I was in complete shock. Like, I was screaming, like, excuse me? The Rock is here right now? Me and my boyfriend and his brother were so excited. We were just screaming. Everybody popped super, super, super hard. We couldn't believe any of it. But when he came in the ring and shook hands with Cody Rhodes and hugged him, that's when me and my boyfriend looked at each other and we knew that something ugly was afoot. Something ugly was afoot, and Cody Rhodes left. He left the ring, and it was just Roman and The Rock. We put two and two together and we made four, and we realized that this is what was happening. And that was where all of my excitement left the window. Now, y'all, I have been one of the people who have wanted The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the longest time because generationally it's one of those matches that's on the level of The Rock and Terry and The Rock versus John Cena. And I always felt that if The Rock and Roman Reigns fought each other, it would be an amazing deal. Like, I always thought it would be cool. But now that we've evolved and now that we've grown, when The Rock shook Cody's hand, and Cody left, and Cody said that he wasn't going to take everything from Roman at WrestleMania, my heart sank. I was upset. I was not happy. I was not happy with it at all because Cody has been trying to finish his story for an entire almost 2 years now. Cody got cheated out of winning the title last year in California via the bloodline. And the idea that he doesn't get to do it at WrestleMania after winning the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row, after pointing at Roman after he won the Royal Rumble, broke my heart into pieces. Like, excuse me? What? That really messed me up inside. And as much as I love The Rock and as much as I love the idea that The Rock and Roman Reigns get to fight each other, to me, it felt like The Rock, in a sense, sort of diva'd his way into the main event of WrestleMania. Because after he got signed to the board of directors to WWE, he was doing interviews talking about the possibility of The Rock and Roman Reigns happening. And it sounded almost as if he was trying to manifest it to happen right now, even though he kept playing and saying, oh, well, I can play the long game. If we have to wait, then fine, or whatever. But it really felt like he was trying to manifest it to happen this year. And because it's happening now, or because it can be assumed that it's happening now, you've cheated Cody Rhodes out of his moment that he worked really hard for. Excuse me? I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like it at all. Like, I can be excited about The Rock showing up in Birmingham and happy about that. And also feel a way about Cody Rhodes not having his moment at WrestleMania. Because yes, there are bigger events that can happen in the WWE that's going to be worldwide, like Backlash and the Bash in Berlin and Money in the Bank that's happening, internationally. That's fine. But it's not WrestleMania. It's not WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the grandest stage of them all. That is where everybody and their mama comes to see this grand spectacle. And Cody Rhodes, for better or for worse, worked his way up, struck out, and became a main event must-see star to have that moment. And the idea that he doesn't get to have it at WrestleMania this time, it's heartbreaking. And yes, you can say, oh, well, it's a part of business. And yes, you can say it's what's best for business. But sometimes what's best for business is not what the people want. And considering this is a very people-minded thing, we are going to be actively and verbally outraged when it comes to this. And the idea that Cody is here all the time and he's consistent with working all the time, and he doesn't get to have this moment that he worked all year for, I don't like it. I don't necessarily like it. Like, I would have been fine if The Rock and Roman had just waited till next year. Like, even though I don't know where WrestleMania is going to be next year, if they had just waited, I would have been fine with that. Because at least Cody would have gotten to have his moment. Because Cody is healthy. I mean, he's healthy and he's been here fighting week after week, cutting promos week after week, making kids' dreams come true week after week. And it's just, he deserves to have this moment. So the idea that he doesn't get to have it, it's just like, excuse me? It just feels like he cheated. It just feels like he got cheated out of an opportunity. All for The Rock to have his moment. Okay. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I did not like it. Like, I'm happy that we finally get, like Babe is saying, like, he says he's happy to get the match, but I hate how we got it. I hate how we got it too. I hate it because it's just like, to do it at the expense of somebody who's been there the entire time. It just hurts and it's just a little bit sour and I don't like it. And yeah, you can say, oh, well, it's just business, get over it, blah. No. No. I don't necessarily like it at all. I don't like the way that it was done. I do not like the way that it was done. And yes, you can argue that Cody can do it anytime he wants to, but the goal of winning the Royal Rumble is to have your moment at WrestleMania. The fact that Cody doesn't get to do that bothers me. This is the kind of best for business stuff that makes people want to go to AEW, that makes people want to just strike out and do their own thing outside of the realms of WWE. This is the kind of stuff that makes people not want to go there for their wrestling careers, because there is some overlying thing that makes you feel like if you work your hardest to get to a moment, you're not going to have it, because it's just going to get snatched away by a part-timer who is almost never there. This is the kind of stuff that made Cody Rhodes like leave, because they didn't believe in him enough to be the guy. Like, this is the kind of thing that makes people leave and do stuff like and create stuff like an AEW and just do stuff on their own. Because there's always business stuff behind it that just cheats people out of getting their actual things. And that's a problem. And I don't care who doesn't like what I'm saying. That's just the truth. That's the kind of stuff that stops people from wanting to go there, because they feel like their work will be in vain, because it'll just be undercut by somebody who just wants to come in and have a moment for themselves. And then what makes it even crazier is just the fact that The Rock is on the board of directors. And even more crazier is just the fact that he owns the UFL now, which means he owns a football team that we just so happen to have. It's layers to it. It's politics to it. It's so many things to it. But I'm happy that we are getting the match, but I just don't like the way that it was done. I don't like it. And Yes, you can say it's best for business, but I just don't like it. And that's just what I had to come on here and say. I was standing there and the air in me just left. The excitement in me just left my body. It just left. I'm sorry, y'all. It left. And then what made it even crazier was the fact that after the show went off, The Rock cut a promo saying that if you want to create magic, you come to the Magic City. And I was just like, now I'll give you your points for that because that is true. We did have the best SmackDown that's ever been had in the entire history of Birmingham, Alabama. That's true. The greatest wrestling show that we've had in the city of Alabama. Like, I will say that. I'll give you your points for that. But sweetheart, you really kicked us in the ass with that. And then he said that Birmingham is deep in history and we just made history, which is true. We made history because we sold out, and that is great. And we're deep in wrestling history, which I talk about frequently on the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. And we're deep in civil rights history, which is true. We do all that. That is real, you know? All of that is real. We were worthy to have this moment. We have worked really hard to have this moment in this city, and it was absolutely wonderful that we got this moment, because any other city could have gotten this moment and it just would have been a regular day or a walk in the park, but we got it, and that's wonderful, for better or for worse. But Jesus, I feel so sorry for Cody Rhodes. I know ultimately he'll be fine, but I just still feel sorry for him. To work hard, win the Royal Rumble, get cheated out of your main event last year, and then work hard, win the Royal Rumble again, and get cheated by yet another Samoan person. It's too much. It is literally too much. But hey, this is where we're at, and we experienced that. So, yeah, this is the second history making thing that I have experienced as a fan and as a media person. First, it was Survivor Series with the return of CM Punk, and now it's the standoff between Roman and The Rock and Cody Rhodes passing it off. Like, I'm blessed, but my God. Oh God, it is crazy where we're at. But either way, that's NXT. Either way, this is where we're at, and I just had to come on here and talk about it because last night was a movie. It was a movie. I just want to thank everybody for watching and chiming in on this Saturday afternoon. And I also want to thank everyone and show love to everybody who I saw. Shout out to Brittany, shout out to Micah, and Static from Blurred Over, and everyone else who I met from Blurred Over. Thank you guys so much for your love and support consistently. Thank you to Ebony, thank you to Jasmine, everyone who I saw at the show. Thank you guys so much for showing me love and support always, and for listening to the show. Thank you to everyone who listens and watches the show, you know, even if you watch it later, if you're not able to watch it live. Thank you guys so much for your support. It is my pride and it is my deepest honor to be a representative of the city of Birmingham, Alabama, as a wrestling media person. It is my deepest honor to be a writer and be a representative and a commentator. Like, it is the honor of my life that I get to talk about wrestling in a beautiful way and to watch it grow the way that it has in this way. And so for it to be full circle, the week before the podcast's fourth anniversary, it's just a beautiful thing. So I'm just really grateful for all of the support that I've gotten over the past 4 years, and just all of the love that was shown last night. I just thank you guys so much, and I hope to continue to grow more and more. So, of course, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. And you can follow me myself at Queen Steph Hardy on Instagram and Twitter, and follow me on Threads at Queen Steph Hardy, and follow me on TikTok at Stephanie_Hardy as well. And continue to like, share, and subscribe to the Hardy Wrestling Podcast channel on YouTube, and just continue to support me and share all the clips that you see of me and everything. I even got an interaction this week with Big E, because of course his cartoon, well, for Our Heroes Rock called Bridges, where they tell the story of Ruby Bridges for Black History Month. That was created by him, Andreas Hale, who I've had on the show before, and Jonathan Davenport. They animated this and put it all together. And Big E was the voice of E-Tour, giving a tour and giving the tour of the Hall of Heroes. Please check that out on YouTube if you haven't already. It was such a beautiful watch. Please check that out and support him. I loved, I had an interaction with him on Twitter where I talked about how warm his voice was as the voice of E-Tour, and he said thank you for the compliment, and I was just like, oh my god, Biggie. Like, I love the New Day so much. Like, I love them so much. Kofi, Xavier, and Biggie, like, I love him. So the idea that we had that interaction on Twitter just really blessed my soul. So I need for Our Heroes Rock to be like a television series or a series on streaming where they continue to tell stories of Black history, because basically this is like Schoolhouse Rock, except it's for Black history. So I need for more episodes of this to come out and to just be a thing, but it's on YouTube, so please check it out. But there's just so many great things going on in wrestling for Black History Month and just as a whole. So please check them out. Check out Talk of Champions as they post about excuse me, as they post about Black history facts that you might not have known in wrestling. Just check out all of the content, every Black content creator in wrestling. Check them out and just continue to support them. Black Wrestling, the Jobber Tears podcast, everybody, check out everybody. The Wrestling Realm, those wrestling girls, everybody, what Wrestling Wind Down, everybody. Just support us, not only just during Black History Month, but always, but definitely during Black History Month, because we are getting it cracking. So I just had to come on here and just talk about my SmackDown experience. I am so proud of, I'm grateful for WWE for giving us the amazing show that they gave us. Still mad about Cody, but it's okay. I'm still grateful. And I'm grateful and proud of Birmingham, Alabama 205 lit always. I am always proud of us because we deserve this moment, because we are a major city. We are the Magic City. And I can't wait to see more of what we have in store. So with that in mind, this has been the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, a Black woman owned, Birmingham, Alabama created wrestling media entity with your girl, Stephanie Hardy. And until next time, bye, y'all. Big Bama energy.